Hello and welcome to an all-new Marvelcast, Explosionaires hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond from Avengers Defenders to Sebastian Gilberti and the Purifiers. My name's Ashley Hobley, your podcast host without fear, and joining me today is the astonishing Dylan Blight.
Yeah, happy to be here to talk about all things art and therapy.
Yep.
How they relate to one another.
Yeah, you know. It's interesting that last episode we're all like, hate therapy talk. You know, then we get a bunch of therapy talk this week in therapy. Because today we're talking about the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again, Episode 7, Art for Art's Sake. Directed by David Boyd, written by Jill Blankenship. Daredevil's back and raised his fist to stop Muse from killing again. Dylan, what did you think of the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again?
I think it was fine. I definitely like. It's just like so. I just feel like it's a lot of just missed opportunities. I just feel like Muse revealed and dead. Muse, you know, it's interesting character potentially could have if you'd given more than a couple episodes. Dead, you know. Dead. There's a lot of weird moments too. I just found like when I can't even remember his new girlfriend, but when she's like Heather, no, or not even that. The police dude or whatever, Dover dude, who's like going off at Matt after he becomes Daredevil again. Yeah, when he's like going off and then he's like, yeah, but there's 60 people dead. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not why you went. It's because it was the girl who was kidnapped was like, you feel like a connection
you
to
could
her.
have like given a very specific reason why.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of weird. And then yeah, the writing, the scene with his girlfriend where it's like she gets in the shower, knows he's bruised, fucks anyway. And then, and
that's
then
how you distract him from.
And then the next morning is like, yeah, you need to go to
therapy.
You need therapy. Just I don't know, a lot of weird things. A lot of jumping the shark at times. I feel things that really should take longer, but we're sort of I don't know, we're like rushing to them for the sake of getting to season 2, which is already filming. So
yeah, I definitely felt like a putting pieces in place episode. I was definitely surprised that Muse was kind of taken out. Well, I'm not surprised because I don't think Muse was never meant to be the big bad. He is ultimately, as portrayed in the episode, a tool for a larger plan. You know, his death justifies Fisk's ongoing use of the police force and that kind of stuff. I think, which is the bigger idea and the bigger threat that Daredevil and Matt will have to face going forward. Yeah, like you said, just some weird like questionings and that kind of thing. Yeah, it was fine, you know. Again, just steadily building up, I guess, to these last 2 episodes, which who's it? Justin Benson and Aaron Moore are back to direct the final 2 episodes. So you assume, based on the opening episode, they're going to be a bit more action heavy potentially. So, yeah. So obviously we open with police investigating Muse's lair. Detective Kim soon finds like a piece of canvas, a super rare piece of canvas that apparently is only sold in 2 shops in all of New York City, which is weird because
again, like let's yeah,
it's weird because Muse did not seem like the guy who was concerned about what type of canvas he was drawing stuff on. It seemed like he was just doing sketches on paper all the time, you know? Except for his street art, I guess, you know? So why is this a random piece of canvas? It's not like there was any, like, canvases in his lair from the look of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that's able to track him down. He turns out to be a kid named Bastion who was had mental health problems and went through the system and that kind of stuff. And it turns out it's actually the kid that we suspected of being something earlier in the series. He was the person who asked to sign Heather's book before Buck got her to sign his book, and thus getting her to be the therapist for Fisk and Vanessa.
I'm shocked.
I think it wasn't helped by, the previously on directly.
Yeah. Blew my mind when that reveal happened. I was like, no way.
What? Is this kid? This sus kid is back? But he has booked a therapy session with Heather. And is talking his things out, explaining his life. He was trained in Taekwondo, which is why he was able to go one-on-one with Daredevil.
I like the just throwaway line of like, "My dad, he's such an asshole. Anyway, he forced me in Taekwondo, and I'm really fucking good at it."
I may not killed my master, but whatever.
Yep.
So while this is going on, Daredevil goes back to the scene of the crime to, try and find it out, and this really doesn't make sense. He feels the paintings, and he's able to work out that it's Heather.
I guess if they're rough enough, which considering their blood.
Listen, what I wanted was he picked up several of the paintings and took it to Cherry or somebody. Was like, "Who's this woman?"
Yeah,
it's the same picture every time. I can tell. Who is it? You're not gonna like the answer. So then, Muse gets more enraged with Heather, even though she's the one responsible apparently for opening him up from reading her books and that kind of stuff to embracing his true self for being Muse. And his plan is to make an artwork out of her.
Yeah, my favorite thing though is just that when he doesn't have the mask on, obviously he's fine to hear his name. But the second he puts a mask on, every time she says whatever his name is, Jim, Bob, Jeff, Jim.
Yep.
He's like, "No, it's Muse." Like, "Do you ever call me?"
My name's Muse.
But I was like,
character.
Before you were freaking the fuck out, yeah.
Also, do you put a new shirt on? Because it wasn't just a mask; it was a whole outfit.
He stitches himself back into that after.
I guess.
I don't know where he had that either. I didn't see him have a bag, but I guess he had a bag.
Yeah. So, but he had a lot of stuff. So knife, whole fucking sheet. I don't know what his master plan was, but
yeah. And
because it was really weird. He would cut her arm, and then he started touching her leg. He's like, "Is this going to go super dark?" But no, he was just wanting to use her blood, I guess, and he didn't have any more syringes, so luckily Daredevil bursts in, is able to fight him off, but ultimately Heather shoots him 6 times in the back of the chest, in the back, killing him before passing out from blood loss.
She wasn't fucking around, eh?
No, why not? Of course.
Also, I like that it's the police are when we enter the room, I saw Daredevil was fighting Muse, and then someone comes in and does investigation. They're like, "These bullet wounds look like they've entry points from the back. So where did Daredevil?" If they tried to go down that road, so the whole thing any sort of evidence would be would not hold up.
No, they fucking hell. So this whole thing is obviously he's wants to turn the city against Daredevil or whatever. He talks earlier about Daredevil took down his entire operation.
His anti-COVID law.
He was just a nice guy trying to lift all these blue collar workers up, making millions of dollars. Everybody from the overseas traders to the people on the port apparently were making millions of dollars until Daredevil came out and ruined it all, falsely arresting him. Because he definitely did not commit any of those crimes. Bringing down 10 years worth of infrastructure. So his big thing is at the end, he wants his anti-vigilante task force to take responsibility for killing Muse. And it's yeah, they're the ones who found it. Daredevil's not involved. Just take But you have the major witness and the person who actually fired the shot still alive. This plan works if she's dead, but she's not. She can just talk to any reporter and say, no, that's not what happened.
Actually, they didn't shoot anyone. You're a fucking liar. You've got survivor's guilt.
Like, really stupid. Just a terrible plan. And then they hold up the Muse mask for the press conference, which was that a thing out of Watchmen? I feel like that was the thing with the Rorschach mask.
It was very Watchman-ish.
Yeah.
Also, Vincent D'Onofrio's smile, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. So then we've obviously other things happen during the episode. We got, like you said, Jerry getting into Matt because Daredevil's on the scene, and then who is it? Kelly, his war partner, is getting frustrated that Matt is constantly not around, and that they seem to be keeping secrets from her. We do have the opening scene where they talk. Heather is kind of realizing that Matt's hiding some sort of secret, is like got something more going on. He's like disappearing it all the time. Yes, he has bruises and that kind of stuff. And she's trying to talk him into not going into the dark places he's going to.
I just like look. Sometimes I walk into things. It's embarrassing.
I'm blind.
And she's like, this guy's usually pretty fucking good for a blind dude. Like,
I don't.
But yeah, sure. I'll believe that. Yeah, definitely. He's walking into things.
Yeah. With his back, because it was just like in the small of his back is where the massive bruise was.
Yeah, he's walking backwards
into things. Well, I guess that's the one. Your cane's not there behind you.
Yeah.
So it is pretty easy to walk back into things. I would imagine. Although I imagine if you're a blind person, you just don't walk backwards. That's how you avoid that. So then we've also got Vanessa meeting up with Luca. Luca proposes that things need to change. And he just says, are you asking for permission or for help? And then the next time we see Vanessa, she's sending a message to Luca with an address saying he's dining alone. Luca goes into a restaurant in which the Kingpin is eating by himself. We assume to go assassinate him from the look of it, the way he's walking in. Only for the Buck to take a silencer shot to his head. Was this planned between the two? Between Vanessa and Fisk? Or was Vanessa sending him to kill Fisk?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because also then he goes, bring Vanessa and ask her if she wants some of this.
He would do that either way.
Yeah.
Even if I feel like that, because that's the one slightly interesting question from this episode is that moment, because I'm like, she could definitely do it to him. I like if they've sort of built her up that she could be going in that direction, and then I also feel like if Kingpin found out that she was going to do that, he still wouldn't do anything to her because he's so enamored by Vanessa. So yeah,
no, it's interesting because the Wikipedia page describes it as the Vanessa lures Luca into a trap, but I don't know that that's for certain.
I don't feel that that's for certain either.
Yeah. Other than Buck definitely hiding in the shadow, so take him out. The others interesting scene we get old little Gandolfini talking to BB, and is pretty much threatening her because he's still pissed about the whole garbage leak. And he's like, hey, you've got a decision to make. You can either be the best decision of your life or the worst decision of your life. I'd be really like it if it's a good decision, So whether it's to go along with the what the task force story is, I'm assuming that's what he wants her to do. Take down the idea that Daredevil was involved.
She's spreading these stories of people saying, no, I definitely saw Daredevil go through the window. Yeah.
There is a giant hole in the window. Yeah. I don't know how the police did that.
They did it when they were shooting off. The bullet bounced off the wall and hit
the window, and then the whole entire window
and then
crumbled.
Yeah, and then it still bounced off
into
and hit
the
Muse.
building.
Yeah, into Muse. Yeah.
Freaking crazy. Yeah, I guess we're 2 episodes away from the end of the season. Where do we think we end up from here?
Not a lot. I feel like I still feel like season 2 goes into, Fisk with Task Force hunting down Daredevil. I'm hoping that.
But here's the thing. Now that Muse is gone, there's no reason for Matt to be Daredevil again.
Yeah, but like at this point, Fisk is like after their whole diner scene,
Yeah. I feel like Fisk is going to do something to lure Bat out as Daredevil again.
Yeah.
Purely so he can be taken out by the task force. Because I remember there were more shots of Bullseye in the initial trailers. So maybe he releases Bullseye for, or lets Bullseye escape.
Yeah.
And that's where Daredevil is captured.
I'm hoping we can resolve the whole, because I just get sick of it at this point, the girlfriend,
the secret
identity thing.
I think it's also interesting that obviously she was being attacked by a guy in a mask, but she said everyone who wears a mask is a coward.
Yeah, again, COVID was the thing, lady. Like, let's just.
That's why the Punisher is not a.
Yeah, he's not a coward. That's right. That's why the cops love him.
Yeah, because he shows his face.
Yeah, I mean,
not that anybody sees it or can talk about it.
Hoping we see Karen show up before the finale again.
Who do you think is more likely to find out Daredevil's identity? His law partner or Heather?
Is Heather the girlfriend?
Heather is the girlfriend.
Then her.
Okay.
Oh, you've got a slice on your leg there, Matt. That's crazy. He's like, yeah, so I was stumbling across the street and I walked backwards into a knife. It's really embarrassing.
Also, was there like a knife element to his like throwy thing? Because Muse's back was like covered in blood. I don't know if that was fresh or...
Yeah, he Daredevil threw that fucking hook thing through his shoulder.
I probably need to watch again.
So Muse was running at Heather.
I thought it was like around
with
his neck or something like that.
No, and he throws it through his shoulder. Like you see this thing like go through it, and then he yanks him back, and straight away you can see he's like bleeding everywhere. So yeah.
So Matt could have killed him.
No,
if he had just been left for a little bit longer.
I think he was going to kill him. Like he was going pretty ham.
Yeah. He was punched him.
We've seen his anger spike up a few times this season, so I thought that's the direction it was heading. Honestly, for a split second there, I was like, he's going to kill him.
Yeah. Oh, on Muse. So it's interesting because apparently in the comic books, he is an Inhuman.
Yeah. So I also saw someone else said that apparently there was leaked Muse season 2 things. They can just do a version 2 that is the Inhuman.
Well, they can just have someone inspired by.
Yeah, or the actual Inhuman one if they want to do that.
I think but it seems like in the comics he plays a similar role of kind of giving Fisk an excuse to have an anti-vigilante task force and that kind of stuff. So rest in peace, Muse. We barely knew.
Again, wasn't really. He was just a serial killer. Yeah,
but 60 people, that's a lot.
It is. Yeah, it's a serial amount of killing, some would say.
Yeah.
This whole like anti-vigilante task force. I'm like,
oh yeah, but he's not a vigilante.
He's just a serial killer. Like,
you call it the anti-serial killer.
Yeah.
All right, let us know what you thought of this latest episode of Daredevil Born Again by finding us on Blue Sky at explosionnetwork.com or find us on other social media at Explosion Pod. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvelcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars and you can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you watch next week's episode of Daredevil Born Again and join us next time for another All New Marvelcast.